Hari Om. Hope you all are doing good. Imagine your life, a life where you can't see. Imagine your life when you can't hear. Imagine your life where you can't speak. I know it's very hard to imagine. And that is what makes us privileged. That we are lucky to be born as normal individuals. And we should be thankful to God that we are born privileged. But that is not how everybody is born. Today we are going to talk about Evelyn Glennie. I have decided to take up Sound of Music, the first lesson from Sound of Music, Evelyn Glennie by Deborah Cowley. Evelyn Glennie, a world-renowned Scottish percussionist, a musician, and very surprisingly, you must have known that Evelyn Glennie could not hear, that she was a deaf girl. Does it mean that her life stopped? Does it mean that the lives of all those people stopped who are visually, or say whose speech is, or whose hearing is impaired? That is the lesson that we derive from life. Despite all her troubles, despite all her jeopardy, all the obnoxious situations that Evelyn faced, the one thing that did not make her lose the game of life was her immense faith in herself and her immense optimism. Faith and optimism are very important, because if you do not have faith and optimism, you cannot aspire, you cannot dream. And it is no wrong to be an aspirant. It is no wrong to be ambitious in life. And that is the lesson that we are going to get from this chapter that I have taken up. Let's start with the story. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. The story starts on a very normal manner, on a very normal note, in a normal manner, on a normal note, where a girl stands on the platform, waits for her train. She is nervous, and that is Evelyn Glennie. A girl who, as I told you, was a special child, a girl whose audibility was impaired. She could make out the advancement of the train through the vibrations. And that is one more lesson that I think we need to understand, that every individual is gifted. Every individual is special in his own way. Evelyn was standing on the platform. She was actually heading for somewhere, and it was the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. So for the first time, she came out of Scotland, and for the first time, she was going to face a broader world, a wider world. So it was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. The one language which connects everybody is love. The one language which connects everybody is a smile. The one language to which all can relate is music. But if you cannot hear, how can you enjoy music? That is the stereotypical conviction that all of us have. Evelyn emerges as an individual to falsify this conviction. Evelyn showed the world that even when you cannot hear, that has got no connection whatsoever with music, because music is about feeling. Life is all about sensitivity. Understanding has to do with the heart more than the mind, than the brain rather. And that is exactly as we see Evelyn coming out of her comfort zone, and for the first time we find her facing a wider world. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. That reminds me of yet another famous personality, and I'm very sure many of you must have got the name by now. Helen Keller. Helen Keller could neither see, nor speak, nor hear. Imagine how a person feels when he or she can neither see, nor speak, nor hear. It's very frustrating. It's very irritating. At any point of time, anybody realizing that you are not normal makes you feel very bitter from within. And that is the challenge that even Helen Keller faced. That is the challenge that even Evelyn faced. The fun does not lie in the fact that we make excuses and we evade from our responsibilities. There is no fun in that. But the real magic is when, despite these shortcomings, one knows how to stand and fight back. And that, of course, requires a lot of optimism, hope, and faith in one's own self. So, Evelyn, her loss of hearing was gradual, and her mother can recollect, her mother can remember when she was 8 years old and Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers, but by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. Now we go a bit in the flashback. The flashback technique has been used in the story for the readers to go down a kind of memory lane. As I told you, it's very frustrating for any individual. Imagine Evelyn Glennie, a small child of 8 years, realizing that something was wrong with her sense organs. Obviously, she will not want to display that. Obviously, she would not want people to understand that she fell short of something. Feel the pain that Evelyn had when she was a small child. But truth, however, cannot be concealed. Gradually, when she was 11 years old, her marks started to decrease, to deteriorate. Her performance in studies gradually, lowered, and her headmistress suggested the parents to take her to a specialist. It was then that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. So, this is the reason why Evelyn could not hear properly. There was a problem in her nerve. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to the school for the deaf. At this point of time, I want you to realize two important things. Number one, how a child is suddenly sequestered, separated from the normal children, and how such kind of a child would be feeling from within. That's the question. Imagine all of a sudden Evelyn being advised to to be taken to a special school. Do you really feel Evelyn would be liking it? And the second thing that I want you to understand here at this point of time is this is where society, family, friends need to pay attention and play a positive role. Nobody actually dies of a disease, my friends, remember. But everybody, or rather most of them, die due to that mental depression. And this is exactly what you find here also. Instead of coming together, instead of helping the child, the school suggested, the headmistress suggested that Evelyn should be taken to a special school. And finally, the suggestion was provided. Everything suddenly looked black. This color black here is symbolic. All of a sudden, Evelyn felt everything was blacked out. Everything was dark. This blackness, this darkness has to do with depression. But the best part is, Evelyn was not going to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. My dear friends, life without a purpose is no life at all. And especially when you do not have passion for something, there is no motivation in your living life. Evelyn was an aspirant. Evelyn was ambitious. Evelyn wanted to take up music as a career, and that is the reason she decided not to give up. And that is the reason she decided to fight back. What would she be fighting? She would be fighting the shortcoming, and she would not allow her hearing, disability, her her problem of hearing to cross the roads to success. And that is a big thing. That is very important. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone. Xylophone is a musical instrument. And this girl was playing xylophone and she decided that she wanted to play it too. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. He began by tuning two large drums to different notes. Don't listen through your ears, he would say. Try to sense it some other way. And that is how Evelyn's relation with music developed. Now, by relationship, by relation, I mean Evelyn's ability to understand and feel music. Ron Forbes played a very important role in her life. And that is again signifying the role of a teacher in a person's life. A teacher is not he who reads or explains you texts. You had the headmistress also at one point of time who suggested Evelyn to be taken to a special school. And on the other hand, you had Ron Forbes who continuously provided Evelyn with a source of motivation. And that is the real role of a teacher. A teacher does not explain texts to you. A teacher is not to explain things to you, but a teacher is to support you. A teacher is to guide you, to motivate you so that you meet your dreams. And that is the role of Ron Forbes, because he was the one who spotted who spotted her potential, Evelyn's skills. He clearly told Evelyn not to, use not to use her ears. And that is the mantra of doing anything. Unless and until you use your heart, unless and until you relate to what you are doing, there is no point. All right, let's continue. And Ron again said, try to sense it some other way. Suddenly, I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. She could feel the vibrations of the tuned drums. She could feel the vibrations, and that is more important. I told you when I began the lecture, I told you everybody is special. Until and unless we ourselves realize who did the job of a catalyst here? Ron Forbes. It was Ron Forbes who made Evelyn realize that apart from her ears, she could use her body parts to feel music, to receive music, to reciprocate to music. And that is the reason why I said Ron Forbes as a teacher, Ron Forbes as a mentor, Ron Forbes as an instructor was the role model of inspiration. So she could understand. Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in the different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. That is more important. In Hindi, we often say, Jahan jaag jao wahin savera. Whenever a man wakes up, that's the morning. By morning here, it's not the morning or the evening or the afternoon that you find using a clock. It's not related to time at all. It's totally symbolical. And at this point of time, Evelyn Glennie found her morning. Who made Evelyn find her morning was Ron Forbes. Ron Forbes instigated, facilitated Evelyn to use her body parts to receive music, and that is how Evelyn could relate her heart to music. Well, I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. You talk about any professional, you talk about any expert, you talk about any legend. Without hard work, without motivation, no one can really achieve anything. You talk about anybody in the world, the two most important factors for anybody to be successful, A is aspirations and dreams. B, a teacher, a motivator, and how you open your inner eyes. Not just the physical eyes. Helen Keller had no eyes. Physically, she could not see. But she could receive the world using her inner eye. Similarly, Evelyn Glennie did not have her ears. She could not hear properly. Her hearing was impaired. What did she do? She opened the eyes of her mind. She opened the ears of her mind to receive music. And definitely, what helped her to do so was number one, her aspirations, number two, a teacher like Ron Forbes. All right. She never looked back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. And this is how Evelyn Glennie slowly and slowly imbibed music. Imbibed. She instilled music in her heart. She instilled music in her emotions, and she instilled music in her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. The story is basically talking about two parts. Number one, the struggles of Evelyn Glennie, discarding her physical ailment, discarding the physical discrepancies, discarding the the fact that she was a handicapped, she was special. And the second part is the culmination of these struggles, which finally resulted in her success. So basically, the chapter gives us a very innate motivation that through hard work and success, through hard work and determination and devotion, one can easily achieve success. The only thing you need to do is you should be aspirant enough to achieve success in the field you want to. So she never had to look back in life. She gradually moved from orchestral work to do solo performances. Till now she was working in groups. Now finally she decided to perform solo. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. This had to be the fruits that her hard work bore. This is exactly what she was gaining. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. Do you know what makes a man special? Do you know what makes an individual special? Do you know what makes a person legend? A legend. A legend basically is he who is always modest. Another value, as I have been telling you, that literature always gives us values. So, value number one, never compromise with hard work. Value number two, always get motivated by your teachers. Value number three, don't be proud of your achievements. Be humble, be modest. And that is exactly what Evelyn did. She was modest. She does not want to accept any heroic achievement. She does not want to, flaunt that she had done something very great. And she said, if you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. And that is the mantra, that is the spell of her life. She tells the world through this story, and that is how the writer has very beautifully penned down, that if somebody knows where to go, proper determination, proper hard work, focus will surely lead you there. And she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist. She became multi-percussionist. She started with a xylophone, and finally she, proceeded to play drums. And today, at this point of time, she was a multi-percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments, and that's more important, and hectic international schedule. It's very intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. Sri Harivansh Rai Bachchan, a famous poet, had once said, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती. A very famous poem, quoted from a very famous poem, very famous lines, which have always been quoted by many orators, many spokespersons. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. Let me put it to you in English. The boat which gets petrified by the waves can never cast ashore. And if you hold yourself back from working hard, success will never come to you. Or if I say, you will definitely succeed if you continuously put in hard work and you accelerate your hard-working tendencies, you are bound to succeed. And this is exactly what you find in this story as well. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. See, Evelyn could not hear. She could have easily made an excuse of not performing, but she did not do that. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards give me trouble, she laughed. She could read lips. And that is another value that the story gives you. The power of observation. There are many things which may be available in front of you which you might not observe. On the path of success or whatever you have strived to do, never think anything whatsoever to be unimportant. Anything that you receive, grab it. make use of the power of observation, and that is exactly what Evelyn did. And very effortlessly, she could understand what people spoke, but in a very humorous manner, she told the interviewer that people who have got bushy mustache, that those people give her trouble because she cannot read the lips properly. Otherwise, it's all fine. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face. And that is the power of observation that Evelyn Glennie had in her. Literature is about values. Literature is a reflection of life. Literature teaches us a lot of things. Very, very true. What have we learned from the story so far? A girl who was physically challenged, who could not hear properly. She was a deaf girl. But she never gave way to depression. She was focused. She was determined. She was industrious. She was hardworking. And most importantly, she was observant and modest. Because success is something which is very relative. The process of hard work somehow should not be compromised with. Today, you may be a very successful doctor. Today, you may be a very successful engineer. Today, you may be a successful banker. But what makes you ultimately successful is the kind of human being you turn out to be. And that is exactly what Evelyn also portrays. The writer portrays through Evelyn's life. Evelyn never flaunted. She never showed off. She was not at all engrossed in vanity. She was not proud. She just did what she wanted to do. She just did what she had to do, and she kept on doing it. So, my speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11. So, this is what Evelyn has expressed. This is what she has brought out. Till 11 years, she could hear very well. Otherwise, things were fine. It was only after 11 years that she became completely deaf. So she used that experience. And another lesson that the story comes up with here at this point of time is never throw away your experiences. Any experience that you gain from anywhere is to be treasured for a lifetime. So finally, she could understand people. But that does not explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. Apart from Scottish, apart from English, she also mastered 2 more languages. And her ability to master 2 more languages completely is, about her determination, her observation. And because you do not stop doing things until you want to. It is very easy to make excuses in life. It is very easy to say no to things in life. It is very difficult to turn a blind eye to all the challenges and proceed. I told you, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती. If a boat is afraid of the waves, it cannot be cast ashore. And कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. People who try and try, persevere, try, they are never defeated in life. All right. As for music, she explains. Now this is very important. This is her real connection with music, her relatability with music. It pours in through every part of my body. It tingles in the skin. Tingles, it creates a kind of sensation. My cheekbones, and even in my hair. So every part of her body is receptive to music, to the vibrations which the instruments produce. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. By leaning against the drums, she can feel the resonances, the echoes. Resonances means echoes. So she can feel those echoes flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her legs. This is how Evelyn Glennie, very beautifully, in a very stupendous manner, in a very impeccable manner, has devised, has mastered the art of feeling music. In this part of the story, we will be doing till here. But let's recapitulate what has happened so far. A very timid girl, a normal girl, rather an underprivileged girl. When I say underprivileged, biologically underprivileged girl, slowly and slowly focusing on her dreams, making hard work, her ultimate guide, and roaring like a lioness. This is what we see in this part of the story. Immense hard work, immense belief in aspirations is what made Evelyn Glennie evolve and transcend the heights of perfection. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. Hope you liked the video. If there is any doubt, do come back to me. But one small request, when you go through the video, kindly have the text by your side for the explanation. And most importantly, for all those English learners, I would suggest you always to refer to a good dictionary for the meanings. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Hari Om.